Alright guys, SlimmBob here. Time for another video. Yeah, we have a guest by the way. We got a lovely pillock face, haven't we? Woo! Yeah. Yeah, so if I get distracted, it's because I have my cat here. Yeah, she ain't going anywhere. It's past her bedtime and she's staying in here because she can blag away into not going to bed. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Anyway, today we're going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5. I need to take a sip. Relax, because holy crap guys, we have a lot to talk about. Metal Gear Solid 5, can we just be honest here? I don't think any other game's going to beat it this year. Now, I'd already decided, like about a month ago, what my game of the year was. I'd not beaten Metal Gear Solid 5 yet at that point. And don't get me wrong, it's probably going to be my number 2 game. Unless Fallout 4 turns out to be a fucking masterpiece. That'll probably be my number 2 game. And I'm going to do another video on that game. So... that's your clue as to what the game is. But let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 5. This ain't going to be a normal... this ain't a review. If you want a review, 9 out of 10. Gameplay is perfect. Story's great. Alright, the first 2/3 of the game, everyone says that that's better. Well, people have been saying the first 2/3 of the game is where it's best. I disagree with that. I think it's the last third of the game where it really... the pacing's better, I feel. Yeah, even though it doesn't wrap up the story properly. Yeah, you can tell there's content missing. Yeah, it's got some problems, but I feel like the pacing feels more like a proper Metal Gear game. Like I wanted story. There were some very intriguing things going on throughout this entire game, but because the entire point of this game was do one story mission, do 5,000 side quests, do one story mission, and it just kept repeating and repeating and repeating. And the last third of the game didn't do that. It just got on with it, and I kind of like that. Of course, the first 2/3, you have to do those side missions. You have to have quiet in your party to get the full experience, I believe. So what's this game about? Yeah, obviously big spoilers in this video, so if you've not completed Phantom Pain, do not fucking watch this. I'm going to spoil everything. And do you know what's funny at all? People have been slagging off the last part of this game. When people are doing these videos talking about the story, they're not even talking about shit that happens in the first 2/3. They're all talking about the ending and everything that happens at the end. And the fact that the end changes Metal Gear forever. It does what Star Wars was meant to do with Darth Vader. Because Darth Vader's a bad guy if you just watch the original trilogy. If Lucas had have successfully made Anakin likeable, made his demise relatable, it would have changed the original trilogy and enriched it. It didn't, because the fucking prequels they weren't very good. But this game was supposed to show Big Boss's demise and make us see Big Boss in a new light. Now she's fucked off. You see, because I'm talking, I'm not giving her attention. She's fucked off. Yes. I'm back, and that's what it did. It's... alright, let's just get into the nitty gritty. When you beat enough content in this game, right, you get to replay the original... well, you get the second set of credits, right, after you get Quiet's ending, right? Then you get to replay the start of this game, the first hour of this game. And granted, when I first played the start, I didn't like it. It kind of pissed me off. I felt like a lot of control was out of my hands. I didn't like that bit when you first get to... there's a bit where you're at the entrance, right? And you get a gun, right? Snake jumps down. Yeah, I've spoiled that already. Snake jumps down, disappears. There's this guy just there. And I'm thinking, I'll grab him and shoot the other guys. Now you can't grab people. I don't know. There was stuff like that that wound me up about the beginning. It felt like it was deliberately trying to tell a certain story, which fair enough. But if you're gonna do that, do it in a cutscene. Don't make it. Don't give me the illusion of gameplay. That's what I mean. But playing it again, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was fantastic. The whole twist that you're not a big boss in this game. You play as a venom snake, a guy who probably like his best agent in Peace Walker, and I have a feeling who the agent is. I think there's a soldier you get really early on in Peace Walker who turns out to be the best soldier for field missions. I used him all the time, this guy, and I think that's who it is. I don't know the character's name, but I have a feeling that's the guy that you're playing as in this game. It would make sense that he'd be on the chopper as the medic. For that one mission where Big Boss does a very important mission, that guy's close to him, he would want him there supporting him in that chopper, so it makes perfect sense. Yeah, I just found the whole twist to be really cool, because honestly throughout my entire time playing Phantom Pain, I felt like they'd fucked up Big Boss's character. That's one of the reasons I wasn't going to name it my game of the year, because yeah, the gameplay is absolutely tremendous, don't get me wrong, but as a Metal Gear you want the story to be spot on, and I felt for a lot of this, Big Boss's character was fucked up completely. It's like, the fact that he doesn't talk a lot, I was thinking all the way through, are you telling me they couldn't afford Kiefer Sutherland on a $80 million, well it was supposed to be $100 million, but an $80 million budget, are you telling me they still couldn't afford Kiefer Sutherland to do a few more lines? Just respond. When Miller says like, we need to get you back onto the chopper, or something like that, just have him respond and say something. Don't have him just have a monologue. And that was pissing me off a hell of a lot. And then there were certain points where he did certain things and I was thinking, Big Boss won't do that. I don't know, there were certain points in the game where I questioned whether or not it was actually Big Boss. Of course I was thinking, he's got these delusions, he's an unreliable narrator, there's a lot of shit that goes on where you're not sure what's happening. I mean, that shit with Paz, I mean, I'm questioning whether or not that was actually real, for one. And two, yeah, that's the first thing. Two, how did she get the bomb inside her? And three, well, that must have happened because they've closed off that room, so that must have happened. I don't know, I just feel like that entire thing with Paz is very bizarre, it's very strange. A lot of the times when disturbing things happen and you get the image of Snake with the blood and the horn, and you're thinking, is this all in his, is that how he sees himself? Is he, I don't know, I just felt like Big Boss. Another thing, like, I felt like through the entirety of this game, Big Boss wasn't the one in charge. It was Kaz and Ocelot. Like, they do everything in this game. They're the ones who organise everything. They're the ones that tell you what to do all the time. The bit where they're interrogating, they have an argument over who's going to interrogate Liquid. And then there's the bit with Quiet where they torture Quiet, even after you have that scene where they've like, her and Snake are frolicking in the rain, which were a bit bizarre, but whatever. That way were cool, it were quite endearing. But yeah, you have all that shit, and then next minute, might be just because it's my playthrough, the way I played the game, but as soon as that happened, I went back to Mother Base next time, they're fucking torturing her. I'm like, you kidding me? Fucking, those two were right. They were so tight in my playthrough, those two. And I'm thinking, like, Big Boss would not let that happen. Like, there's a lot of times where you think, why is Big Boss not shouting these guys down? Why is he not controlling them? And it were a big thing to me. It didn't feel like Big Boss. So right at the end, when you play it through that section again, and his face didn't look right. I know, they said they reconstructed his face, but I just kind of passed that off, because I thought, well, fair enough, it's just an excuse for you to build your avatar for online. You know, they've just somehow worked that into opening for some bizarre reason. So I just ignored that part. Just assumed it was that. And then there's bits where Kiefer Sutherland's telling you to use the X button to crouch and things like that. So I was like, well, they're just working in game mechanics into opening. But yeah, I always thought through this entire game, Big Boss's face doesn't look right. I get that it's going to be damaged a bit. I understand that, but he doesn't look like the same bloke as in Ground Zeroes. He just doesn't. Especially in the opening, he looks a lot different to Big Boss in Ground Zeroes. So all the way through, I'm thinking, did they fuck this up? Did they just overlook this? I don't know. And then at the end, you find out it's a different man altogether, and that was so satisfying. And then Big Boss shows up with a cigar on Eva's bike, and it's like, it was so satisfying. He talks, like, you have these conversations, don't you, that you get, the cassette tapes that you get. And, yeah, Big Boss talks, and he's joking, he's responding, as Big Boss would, how he would have done in the older games. They didn't forget the guys. They did it. They created Big Boss and did him justice. And when he does show up, it's just so cool. You feel like, it's like, welcome back, old friend. And it's genius. This game's genius. The whole idea. Phantom Pain is the most genius name they could have given this game. It's always talking about Phantom Pain. Every single character loses a hell of a lot. And all the way through, you as a player, you don't. Oh, don't worry, I'll get to that. Well, obviously, I will get to that. Because all the stuff with Big Boss is cool, but the shit with Quiet, I think, is what really makes this game special. But basically, because you find out Venom Snake's a different man, and the fact that Venom Snake is the person you take out in Metal Gear 1, changes the entire... It changes the Metal Gear universe completely. It makes it so that Big Boss... See, this is the thing, I feel like... In one way, it makes Big Boss look more heroic. And look... It makes him look like less of a bad guy, but at the same time, it doesn't. Or does it? You see, it's hard to think. It's hard, isn't it? Because on one hand, he's allowed one of his best men a chance at a new life, because apparently the guy was basically dead, and they brought him back to be Venom Snake. So he allowed someone to be Big Boss and carry that name and make it awesome, command his own base and all that, and be on the same level as Big Boss. On the other hand, he's trapped a man into that life and has had to take him out in Metal... Because that's basically what happened, innit? In Metal Gear 1, Venom Snake went a bit nuts, didn't he? Well, he's obviously nuts at the end of Metal Gear Solid 5 anyway, the way he smashes that mirror and he's smiling like a madman. Yeah, Venom Snake turns a bit, so... yeah, I think Big Boss sent Solid Snake to take him out in Metal Gear 1. And it would explain how... Like, it would explain, like, the schizophrenic kind of... You know, Big Boss is on your side, and then suddenly he tells you, go inside that truck over there, Snake. And there's a load of guards that attack you and things like that, so it makes Metal Gear 1 a much more rich experience, which, you know, at the time it was just a game that came out on the MSX. It wasn't anything, there was no universe or anything, but it makes it so much more special, and it makes me want to play it again. It makes me want to replay Metal Gear 2, because this was a vibe I always got. Metal Gear 1, I always felt that you were fighting bad guys, that even like the colour scheme and everything, there were no good guys in Metal Gear 1. It was an oppressive atmosphere. They were bad guys, and you have to take them out. You feel like you don't really have a choice. Metal Gear 2, there's a community, there's kids that respect Big Boss. Everyone you meet respects Big Boss, and you get a feel that it's a lesser evil. The fact that you're stopping this guy, it's a lesser evil. But the only reason you're stopping him, I think, if Snake knew that it was a different person, maybe he wouldn't have killed Big Boss. Because it's kind of the same as in Metal Gear Solid 3, innit? By taking out the boss, Naked Snake tarnished the boss's reputation for a good cause, essentially. And I feel like Metal Gear 1 is kind of the same. It's mirroring the past. Like, he's sent to kill Big Boss, like his superior, so he becomes the only Snake. So the Snake does. That's the idea anyway. Because you got to think at that point, Solid Snake doesn't know about Liquid at all. So I don't know. It's like it's the same thing. Big Boss repeated history by sending Solid Snake to kill Venom Snake. There's so many snakes. Oh my god. And it's tragic. It really is tragic. And in the end, Big Boss does redeem himself in the same way Zero does. That's something I really like as well. Like right at the end, because all the way through, it trains it in your head that Cypher's evil. Well, the Patriots, aren't they? That Cypher's evil, and they can't be trusted and all that, which is true. But that doesn't mean that Zero was controlling them, because you find out through another audio diary that Skullface poisoned Zero back in the 70s. And yeah, there you go. Zero wasn't always in control of the Patriots. He visited Big Boss. He set up the whole hospital. He set up Venom Snake. That whole contingency was his idea. And he visited Big Boss, and there's a moment where he calls him old friend, and he's reminiscing, and the voice actor did a really good job. He seemed like a really cool... Made Zero seem like the same man that you know from Metal Gear Solid 3, and that's something that always bothered me. I didn't like the idea that you see Major Zero as this very good commander, he cared about the people he worked with. Like, he was a great commander, that guy. And then suddenly Metal Gear Solid 4, oh, he created the Patriots, and now he controls the world and controls all of war for profit. It's like, I don't know, I just didn't see that character going from that extreme to that extreme. But now it explains the fact that Zero didn't have time. Yes, he wanted to create an AI and all that just to... But he would have fine-tuned it. If he had an extra decade, he would have been able to fine-tune that system and make it work in the way the boss intended. And you really get that impression in this game, that he wanted the best for everyone, for the boss. But because he was killed, well, comatose by Skullface, he didn't have a chance to do that. Donald Anderson, he'd already had instructions to create this AI, but at that point, what else? What other instructions has he got? He doesn't know what to do, so he has to improvise and create the Patriots in his own way. And it's genius. It's absolutely genius. Again, Phantom Pain, you know, it's been created in a way by Phantom, because at that point he is a Phantom. It's just genius. Phantom Pain is fucking genius. And that's another thing with the game. You learn the entire game. You play as a Phantom, you don't play as Big Boss. All the shit, all that experience that you think you've had, it's bullshit, because you're not even that man. So all of Big Boss's past, everything you've experienced in Metal Gear Solid 3, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, didn't exist for this man, because he's a Phantom. Well, Peace Walker sort of, I guess, because he would have been there, but it's genius. I just absolutely love it. It's just, not only have we got this really cool story, one we saw Liquid. Oh my god, Liquid's voice act was awesome, by the way. Like, there were a couple of times where his intonations weren't the same as in Metal Gear Solid 1. I can forgive that. I don't really care. But the way he commanded, his tone and everything, especially in the hidden episode, the one that only came with the collector's edition, the one where it's like all cut content, basically. It's just so good. That voice actor's really cool. I'd love to see that character come back. It was a bit stupid that though, as Sarcomantis literally just, oh, he has the English vocal parasite. I'll just bang, just takes it out of him, plop, and that's it, done. That was really silly, but obviously that might have changed. That might have changed because it were only 30% completed anyway. That cutscene. You know, that whole thing, like Venom Snake, Big Boss, that whole dynamic, the whole fact that Venom Snake's obviously unstable. Big Boss has not had any of that pain, so he just goes on his merry way. He creates Zanzibar Land. Because that always bugged me and all, the fact that 4 years later, Big Boss has occupied this island and created an entire colony, basically. But no, it turns out he was creating it since the 80s. That's just... it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So that I really likes. Let's talk about the important shit now. Let's talk about Quiet, right? oh god, how bad were it when she's not dead. I don't think she's dead, because she just kind of wanders off. You never know, they could do a DLC. Well, they won't because it's Konami, but in an ideal world, they would do a DLC where Quiet kind of comes back. Not like actually as you. She could be a companion in the same way, except she wouldn't jump on the helicopter and all that. After a mission, she'd fuck off and do her own thing, because she could just communicate, like, just over the radio. She could still work for Snake, just at a distance. And if she's a sniper, she don't have to actually physically see it. They don't have to physically see each other. All like, I don't know. I just feel like Quiet could come back in some way. It doesn't feel final that when she walks off in the sunset, because that's exactly what she's doing, right? She walks off in the sunset, and it doesn't feel like, it sort of feels like goodbye, but not. She ain't dead. That's what I mean, right? But then again, right? If she did stay at Mother Base, if they found a way to get rid of that parasite, which they can't now anyway because it's actually hatched. Yeah, they can't anyway. But if they had found a way to get rid of it, that means she'd have to be in Metal Gear 1. She'd have to be. There's no way she'd leave Mother Base, I don't think. No, she probably would. But, like, she would have ended up being in Metal Gear 1. So, in fact, I need to go back and look at the bosses. Maybe she is in Metal Gear 1. Under a different name, maybe? Or... no, I don't think she is. But yeah, the way that were all done, the only thing I didn't like about that, it felt a bit forced. Like, I get the irony, it's a bit weird, Snake and all that, you know. Fucking shit, why is Snake? Like, he's like just taking piss at that point. But the whole... in that situation, what would you do in this game? What is your number one thing if you have tanks show up? You run. You get out of there. That's what I always do. No hesitation. I just run and get the fuck out of there. And it doesn't give you an option to do that. You have to stand your ground for some reason and fight off that tank that kills you in one hit. It weren't just me, were it? All other vehicles, it's like, alright, oh great, they'll probably hurt you. But that one tank, there was one tank that just killed you in one hit, and it was so annoying. But yeah, that whole sequence was really done. Well done. Like, the tape that she leaves behind was cool. I think Quiet was the best character in the game, honestly. I mean, people leading up to this game, people have gone on about her appearance and all that, and in the game it makes sense. And I've heard people say that why doesn't she just wear a suit like the End? It won't work because the End photosynthesizer, he gets energy from the sun, from that suit. That suit helps that, but she doesn't operate in the same way as the End. Like, she only gets carbohydrates from the sun. That's it. Like, she breathes air through her skin. So if she wore clothes, like, you find that, you see it later, don't you? Like, when she's kidnapped, when she's captured, as soon as a bit of her skin gets some air, she can finally breathe and actually attack. But yeah, so her wearing clothes is just not possible. Like, maybe there was something you could develop. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe Mother Base could have developed a suit for her, but I don't think she'd have worn it. She wouldn't risk it. Like, the way she acts. I've been thinking about this. Like, the way she acts, doing all those right stupid poses, and the way she reacts when there's rain. It's the same as when Big Boss has to kill, not Big Boss, when Venom Snake has to kill all of his soldiers. They had an instinct. The parasite was sending them to the roof, and even when there was a napalm strike, the parasite still sent them up on the roof because they're not in control. I feel like with Quiet, the parasite controls a lot of her body. It's like, it pretty much, her entire body is parasites. So I feel like a lot of the way she acts is the parasite doing it. The way she has a shower, it's so weird. Everything she does is really weird. But when she's on the battlefield, that's when she's herself. But when she's around the base and I feel like the Parasite does a lot of her actions in a way, and that's what was so cool about the character. It's like you're never quite sure. She's obviously the most trustworthy person on the base, obviously, and that pissed me off. Like, you got those signs up on what do you call it? You know, on top of her cell, calling her like a, you know, that they should kill her and all that. And not Big Boss, Venom Snake. I feel like he should have gone up to him. There should have been a scene where he went up to one of his soldiers and said, "Who wrote that?" And then he's like, "Oh, it was this guy over here, Snake," and all that. And then he just smacks him in the face and tells him to remove that crap. And it's like, show some respect and all that. She's still I know she's a prisoner, but fuck off, mate. I don't know. I just feel like at some point, especially when your bond level's full, and they have that scene, like, in the rain and all that, they've obviously bonded. Like, there's a possible romance going on, which it would have done, wouldn't it? You know, if that last mission had turned out well, and she'd have come back home, everyone would be like, "Yeah, Quiet's amazing," and they would have been proper. They'd have gone for it after that, because, well, you know what? You would, wouldn't you? Come on. But no, you know, after that, it pissed me off. Like, this should have been an option. There's certain things in this game where you should have got options. You should have got an option to tear down those pictures and to just take a bit more control of your base, man. But then again, it's not Big Boss. Big Boss would have not tolerated any bullshit whatsoever. He wouldn't have let Miller. That speech that Miller does when he says, like, "You can't trust anyone." Snake should have been like, "Yeah, they can. They're comrades. Who the fuck do you think you are telling our comrades not to trust each other?" And that Big Boss is watching shit. Saying that, he must endorse that. Saying that, it makes sense though, because Venom Snake is more extreme than Big Boss. Like, it does seem like something that the Snake from Metal Gear 1 would do. It's a fine line. I don't know, maybe he just likes watching people suffer. But anyway, yeah, I thought the thing with Quiet is the Phantom Pain. That's I mean, you've got all that way. I get that Venom Snake represents Big Boss's Phantom Pain, but, and everything, all the past is Venom Snake's Phantom Pain, but Quiet is our Phantom Pain. If you used it throughout the entire game, which I did, and I've gone back to D-Dog, I've tried playing it today, right? I felt fucking depressed after. Every time I used my helicopter, I would look at the side, that side, to see a jump up. And it's horrible. It's so horrible. Like, she is the best though. Once you get a silence tranquilizer, like, it's pretty much sorted. Like, you cannot lose. Like, she's way too good. And I love the Goldfinger reference. I think that's what it must have been, a Goldfinger reference. You know, the bright gold paint. That was fucking awesome. She's best character. When she's doing that humming and all that. And which were kind of creepy the first time it happened. It's like you're not quite sure where she stands at the start, but you figure it out pretty quickly that she ain't a bad guy. She's the only trustworthy person. Like, she saved your life loads of times. She doesn't hurt anyone. She doesn't attack anyone. There's that one guard that she attacks, but there's a reason for it. So yeah, when you lose Quiet, we don't have any urge to play anymore. A lot of people have said that. I've looked at a few videos about the ending to this game, and everyone, not everyone, in every comment section, there's people saying, "Yeah, I have no urge to play this now that Quiet's not in it." And there's a petition to, like, get her patched back into the game for the end game. Now, I don't want that to happen. What I do want is when you beat the game, and say do a couple more missions, you get a call from Miller saying, "Boss, we've had the R&D department come up with this new mech. It's a sniper. I know it's not the same, but you can have a replacement to Quiet. And over and out." And something like that. A mech that doesn't even look like Quiet, doesn't talk, doesn't make a noise, but just something in terms of gameplay that lets you carry over certain things that maybe you have to do a completely different tree to upgrade this mech, but make it so that that gameplay mechanic of having the sniper do covering fire and all that, make it so that entire mechanic's not obsolete, because at the moment it's very difficult. I'm not enjoying the game as much without that mechanic. D-Dog's cool, but it's just not the same. I really like the idea of having Quiet, scouting outpost, while I do a couple of other things. I turn around, all the enemies, prisoners are showing up. I go in that outpost, oh, a couple of guys have helmets. Take out that helmet, bang. Take out that helmet, bang. And it's like, I don't know, I missed that mechanic. I found it, that was when the game really started to become fun for me, when Quiet was in it. But I think it's deliberate though, isn't it? Like, she is the Phantom Pain. The whole idea is, it's a test. Like, what players will keep playing the game after she's gone? Like, because they know that some people won't play it. It's like a test. Will we live with our Phantom Pain? And it's what we're doing. That's why every time you went on a mission with her, she did that thing where she jumped on a helicopter. That's why when you're on the helicopter just looking through your iDroid, she's doing all these things. She has all these animations which are very distracting sometimes. Like, I don't understand the one where she does those stretches with her arse in your face. You know, things like that. But you don't forget it. It's part of her personality. It's part of the character. And now it feels empty. Now the helicopter went out. D-Dog just looks at you and pants for a bit. He doesn't have the personality of Quiet. And it feels empty. Like, when you're on missions, it's just... And D-Dog gets in fucking way. You'll be there, you'll be crawling along ground, it's like, I'm going to tranquilise this bloke. D-Dog will just walk in front of you, it's like... Ugh. I'm considering just going solo now, honestly. Like, D-Dog does my head in sometimes, but... Yeah, you did good, guys. Like, that's what you were going for. You were making her the coolest character in the game. The most likeable character in the game. Because you wanted us to feel Phantom Pain after completing the game. And for that reason, I don't want you to patch her in. I would like an alternative though. I would like that gameplay mechanic of having the sniper back in the game. Because Venom Snake, at that point, look at it from his point of view, if he's had all these missions with this woman that's like really good at this job, he's going to get accustomed to that. He's not going to want to change the tactics that work. So he'd be like, Miller, Ocelot, I need a new way to do this. It suddenly sounds a bit like, I don't know who he sounds like, but he's going to want to keep that up, that momentum up. So, I don't know, just introduce a mech or something, or some sniper, or a prisoner, that could work. A mission that's like, there's a prisoner in this base. Turns out they're a very good sniper. And there you go, maybe they're not as good as Quiet, I don't care, I just want that gameplay mechanic back. I've talked about this a lot, right? Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 5, guys. What did you guys think about this? What did you think about the whole Liquid Psycho Mantis thing? Liquid was scary in this, I can see, and I really like Liquid in this. It's like, it was obviously him as well. As soon as you see the green eye, there's a certain shot where you see the green eyes, and then you realise actually it does kind of look like Big Boss. And then like about 3 hours later, Ocelot says, you know, he might be your son, Snake. And I'm like, no shit, mate. Commands an army at that age. It made perfect sense. I wish Solid would have been in this game though. But then again, he couldn't, could he? Because Solid works for Big Boss. And Big Boss is in Outer Heaven. So, you see? It's like with Grey Fox. I was thinking for a lot of this game, where's Grey Fox? Why is he not showing up? Same reason, because he works with Big Boss. He doesn't work with Venom Snake. It's... oh god, it's so fucking cool. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 5, what did you guys think? What did you think of the whole fact that Big Boss and Zero their arcs have been enriched in such a way. I mean, I want to replay them all now, just because of this. I wish I would do them in order, but honestly, like, this game is so long. It took me like 80 hours just to complete it. I'm kind of annoyed though, because I didn't... towards the end, I realised I didn't need to do all the very, very difficult missions to get to the end. But now I wish I'd done those while Quiet was in my party. I fucked up with that, guys. I'm very sorry, guys. I fucked that up. Oh, great game. It's probably game of the year. It works on a lot of levels. And just all, like... Because you create your avatar at the beginning. You can put your name in and all that. I called him John Doe, this guy, because I thought, well, if it's Snake, he's going to want to be anonymous. But no, you put your own name in and all that. And yeah, the whole idea is that you do that, you create your face, and then at the end you find out you're Big Boss. You are Big Boss, and you have been this entire time. So I think it's Kojima's way of basically saying, you, the player, are Big Boss. You have been living Big Boss this entire time. Even though you're a phantom to Big Boss's story, you've been there through all of this, so thank you. And you know what, thank you, Kojima Productions. I know we credit Kojima, specifically Kojima, for a lot of this, but he has really good staff. So all of you guys, everyone at Kojima Productions, I know it's not been easy these few years. I know you've been worked to the bone. I know Konami's not been very good treating the staff, and you didn't get a chance to complete this game, and that is such a shame. But thank you so much. You created a really good game, probably game of the year. And as a farewell to Konami, this is the greatest of all time. It's a great send-off, and this is another thing. People have been saying, like, they wouldn't mind another, you know, Konami's still making Metal Gear games, but I would, because Kojima didn't leave on his own. He took all his senior staff, all the writing staff, all the senior management and everything, which means all the talent's gone. Metal Gear's fucked now, guys, so Konami don't do anything. In fact, outsource Metal Gear to an actual good publisher, and they might say, oh, Kojima-san, can you please make another one? And then he might say, go on then. Do you know what would be hilarious? If they did DLC for Metal Gear Solid 5, outsourced it, and it turns out Kojima's made a fake company, and he does it, and oh, that'd be fantastic. No, he don't want to. He wants to be done with Metal Gear, and I don't blame him. Like, he's done this for so long. Like, give the guy a break. And it is a bridge. This is the perfect bridge. It really is. I don't need to see how Solid Snake gets Tower Heaven. I know that's going to happen. Like, this was all about showing the turn of Big Boss, and we got that. And this was all about showing us, like, thanking us for being the Phantom Pain all the time throughout this entire series. Oh, fuck Huey, by the way. Yeah, Huey, they tried to make you feel sorry for him at the end, and I like the fact that, like, when he leaves, he's saying to Snake, he's saying, like, why are you doing this? This isn't something Big Boss would do, and all that, and you're thinking, yeah, actually, that's a good point, he wouldn't, he would have fucking killed you. I think he would have killed him. Yeah, I cannot believe he put Otacon in a Metal Gear as a baby. And I can't believe that Strangelove slept with Huey. I thought she was, like, full-on lesbian. I didn't think she was even bisexual or all. Oh, wait, no, she says that she was having the boss's baby. The whole idea was... I think she just fucked him just so that she could have a child and say it was the boss's for some reason. That's how it works, you see. Oh, it was all great. That whole Strangelove scene was fucking awesome, by the way. Oh, there was so many good scenes. Just so much good. Put Quiet back in it in some way. I have a feeling the way that she leaves, it's in the same way. It's like it's setting up a DLC. I really feel like it is. A DLC that we might not get. We probably won't get. They should have just, literally, you go up that hill and find her body there. and that's it. I would have been happier that way, because then at least it's final. But now I feel like we might be missing out on content because of this. She might go in the mountains, train Sniper Wolf. Sniper Wolf goes to like Foxhound eventually, and then Sakamanchi's like, whoop, just takes the parasite out of her, and there you go. I don't know, it's great, it's all good. Yeah, what do you guys think of Metal Gear? Do you want to see more Metal Gears in the future? If you do, who do you want to make them? Because they don't have a studio anymore. Konami is screwed. They have 2 studios. They have Pro Evolution Soccer. Alright, well, 3 technically. They have 2 studios. One in Japan, one in England for Pro Evolution Soccer, and Konami in Los Angeles for Metal Gear Online. That's it. They don't have any other studios anymore. So no, guys, don't make another Metal Gear. Let's just leave it as it is. We've had an amazing journey. A 30-year journey. Is it 30 years? Almost 30 years. Let's end on a bang. Thank you. So, I want to end on Snake's speech. Well, we're it. Building the future and keeping the past alive are one and the same thing. That's not relevant whatsoever to this video, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is SlimmBob. Thanks for watching. And goodbye.